Elon Musk strolled into a Texas diner sporting a MAGA hat, only to lock eyes with a group of rough and tumble bikers. Tension hung in the air as the room went silent, every biker sizing him up. What happened next will have you on the edge of your seat. Elon Musk pulled into a Texas diner on a quiet stretch of road near Amarillo, his electric truck gliding into the lot as the sun blazed overhead. His MAGA hat, a gift from a conference, shielded his face as he slid into a booth, away from prying eyes. Elon ordered coffee and waffles, hoping for a peaceful break from the noise of Silicon Valley. As the bell over the door jingled, a group of 6 bikers entered. Their laughter filled the room, but when one of them, a broad-shouldered man with a grizzled beard named Bull, locked eyes with Elon, the air shifted. Bull's gaze lingered on the MAGA hat, his easy grin twisting into something more calculated. "Looks like someone wandered a bit too far from Hollywood," he said, his voice slicing through the room. The other bikers chuckled, but there was an edge to their laughter. The waitress froze, sensing the tension. Elon remained calm, raising an eyebrow. "Hollywood?" he asked. Bull approached, his boots thudding loudly on the floor. "You sure about that?" he said. "Because that hat you're wearing, it's a statement." Elon set down his coffee cup. Sometimes a hat is just a hat. The room fell silent, everyone watching as Bull leaned closer. "A hat like that doesn't walk into places like this without a reason," he said, his voice low but charged. The other bikers exchanged smirks, their leather jackets creaking as they shifted. Elon didn't flinch. "It's interesting," he said. "A piece of fabric can carry so much weight." Bull, momentarily thrown, shot back. "Why is that?" "Because it stands for something," Elon replied. "People wear it to show which side they're on. So which side are you on, Mr. Big Shot?" The other diners watched with bated breath, their conversations halted. A man at the counter muttered under his breath, "This is why I don't stop at places like this anymore." Elon sighed, his voice steady as he motioned to the room. "Do you really want to have this conversation here?" Bull squared his shoulders, his jaw tightening. "Why not? People like you don't come out here unless you're trying to stir the pot." Elon chuckled. "I came for waffles," he said. "They're good, by the way. You should try them." The remark caught Bull off guard, and a snicker escaped from one of the bikers. Bull's glare silenced the laughter. He turned back to Elon. "You think this is funny?" "No," Elon said, his tone unwavering. "But I think misunderstandings usually are." Bull tilted his head, confused. "What's there to misunderstand?" Elon leaned forward, resting his elbows on the table. "Maybe we should talk about what it says to you," he suggested. "Because that seems to matter a lot right now." The room fell into an expectant silence, and even the bikers at the counter seemed to sense a shift. Bull's jaw twitched as he considered Elon's words. The tension didn't vanish, but it transformed into something more complex, a pull toward understanding, however small. The challenge in Bull's eyes remained, but there was a flicker of curiosity. The bikers exchanged looks, the mood now a mix of suspicion and intrigue. The diner, once filled with casual noise, had become a stage for an unexpected conversation, one that was far from over. If you find these stories inspiring and they motivate you to take action, please comment 9. If not, comment 0. Your feedback means a lot to us. Thank you for your valuable time. Elon Musk sat quietly in a diner on a dusty road outside Amarillo, Texas. Wearing a MAGA hat, a gift from a retired engineer he had met at a conference, he enjoyed his coffee and waffles, seeking the anonymity of small-town life. But when a group of bikers walked in, the atmosphere shifted. One of them, Bull, noticed Elon's hat and saw it as a challenge, something meant to provoke. Bull, with his grizzled look and tough demeanor, approached Elon, questioning him about the hat. The diner, once filled with casual chatter, fell silent. Bull accused Elon of either being clueless or stirring trouble, believing the hat was a political statement. Elon, calm and composed, responded, explaining that it wasn't about politics, but about honoring the person who gave it to him, an engineer who had dedicated his life to solving problems. Bull softened, albeit reluctantly, acknowledging that this explanation was different, but still unsure about how the hat would be perceived by the locals. Elon suggested that instead of jumping to conclusions, they could talk about what they stood for. Intrigued but skeptical, Bull asked him to clarify. Elon's response was simple. "I stand for moving forward," he said, emphasizing the importance of finding common ground and believing in the possibility of connection despite differences. The room, once tense, now buzzed with curiosity. Bull, sensing a shift, asked Elon what his vision of moving forward was. Elon explained that moving forward required open conversations and understanding. He acknowledged the world's difficulties, but argued that assumptions often led to misunderstandings. Bull, still hesitant, pressed him further. Why would a guy like you come here into a hole-in-the-wall diner for waffles? Elon smiled and explained that he was scouting locations for a project, wanting to get a real feel for the area by listening to the people. The bikers, particularly one with a scar down his cheek, laughed, pointing out that they were more about action than listening. Elon, unfazed, replied that action was best when informed, drawing a parallel between his work at Tesla and SpaceX and the same principles of hard work and determination that Bull and his crew respected. The bikers, who had been bracing for a confrontation, now looked intrigued. Bull, no longer as confrontational, asked Elon what his angle was. Elon simply responded that it was just a conversation, but invited Bull and his crew to visit one of Tesla's facilities nearby to see firsthand the work they were doing. Bull, still skeptical but intrigued, agreed. Elon stood, paid for his meal, and led the bikers to his Cybertruck, parked nearby. The bikers exchanged looks, still unsure of what to make of the situation. One of them, a younger man with a red bandana, whistled at the futuristic design of the vehicle, clearly impressed. Despite their initial hostility, the bikers' curiosity had been piqued, and they were now following Elon with a sense of intrigue, eager to see what he had to show them. What started as a tense encounter fueled by assumptions had turned into an unexpected moment of connection and open-mindedness, with Elon's calm demeanor and genuine invitation breaking through the walls of judgment. The possibility of moving beyond surface-level judgments and having real conversation seemed, for a brief moment, within reach. That yours? He asked, nodding toward the truck. Sure is, Elon replied, pulling a key card from his pocket. With a single swipe, the door handles popped out and the headlights blinked to life. Hop in. It's not far. The bikers hesitated, clearly unused to taking rides in something so unconventional. All of us, one asked, eyeing the truck's spacious cab. Elon chuckled. It'll be tight, but you'll fit. Bull crossed his arms, his eyes narrowing. We're not piling into that thing until you tell us what we're getting into. Elon leaned against the truck, arms casually folded. What you're getting into, he said, is a chance to see something different. To understand that innovation isn't about tearing people apart. It's about finding new ways to bring them together. You might not trust me yet, but I think you'll trust what I'm about to show you. Bull studied him for a long moment. Finally, he nodded toward his crew. All right, let's see what this guy's got. The group climbed into the truck, the leather of their jackets squeaking against the futuristic seats. As Elon drove, he started talking, not in the slick, rehearsed way of a salesman, but in a straightforward, almost conversational tone. You know, a lot of people think Tesla is just for rich folks, he said. Fancy cars, big price tags. But the truth is, what we're working on isn't just about cars. It's about changing the way we think about energy, about transportation, about what's possible for everyone. The bikers listened in silence, the hum of the Cybertruck's engine barely audible as they sped down the road. The landscape outside shifted from dusty plains to the sleek modern silhouette of a Tesla facility on the horizon. When they arrived, Elon parked near the entrance and hopped out. This, he said, motioning toward the massive building, is where the magic happens. The bikers stepped out of the Cybertruck, their boots landing on the pristine concrete of the Tesla facility's parking lot. The building loomed ahead, a futuristic structure of glass and steel that seemed to glint with possibilities under the late afternoon sun. They exchanged uneasy glances, clearly out of their element, but Bull took the lead, his expression stoic. Elon swiped a key card at the entrance, and the glass door slid open with a soft whoosh. Inside, the atmosphere was entirely different from the dusty diner they'd left behind. The air was cool and clean, and the faint hum of machinery buzzed in the background as employees moved with purpose. Large screens displayed real-time updates on production metrics, while sleek robots worked alongside people on the assembly lines. Welcome to the future, Elon said, gesturing around the space. This is where we're building electric vehicles, energy storage systems, and the kind of technology that could change how we live if we let it. The bikers hesitated at first, hanging back near the entrance. It was the youngest of the group, the one with the red bandana, who broke the silence. This is wild, he muttered, his eyes wide as he watched a robotic arm seamlessly piece together a car chassis. Elon smiled. Something, isn't it? Come on, let me show you around. As they moved through the facility, Elon explained each section with enthusiasm, his words brimming with passion for the work being done. He showed them the battery assembly line, where sleek modules were crafted with precision. He pointed out the solar panels being tested for durability, explaining how they could provide energy to off-grid communities. At one station, a team was developing a new prototype for a more affordable electric car, designed to make sustainable transportation accessible to people everywhere. "This isn't about making toys for billionaires," Elon said, his voice rising slightly to carry over the sound of machinery. "It's about solving problems that affect everyone. Climate change doesn't care how much money you have, where you're from, or what you believe. We all have a stake in finding solutions." Bull, who had been silent for most of the tour, finally spoke. "You really believe all this can make a difference?" "I do," Elon replied without hesitation. "But it's not just about the technology. It's about people being willing to think differently, to imagine a better future, and to work together to make it happen." Bull nodded slowly, his gaze drifting over the assembly line. "It's impressive," he admitted. "I'll give you that. But how does any of this help someone like me? Someone who spent their life fixing old machines, not building new ones." Elon turned to face him directly. "It helps because it shows what's possible," he said. "It's easy to get stuck in the way things have always been. But when you see something like this, when you see that change is possible, it opens your mind to what you could do too." The bikers were quiet as they continued the tour, their earlier skepticism replaced by a mix of fascination and reflection. Even Bull, the grizzled leader who had confronted Elon so fiercely at the diner, seemed softened by what he had seen. As they returned to the entrance, Elon stopped and turned to face the group. "Look," he said, "I'm not saying this place will solve every problem, but it's a start. And if you're ever curious, if you ever want to see what else is out there, you're always welcome here." For a moment, no one said anything. Then Bull stepped forward, extending a hand. "You're an odd guy, Musk," he said with a hint of a smile. "But I respect what you're doing." Elon shook his hand firmly. "Thanks, Bull. I respect what you're doing too. And for what it's worth, those waffles really were great." The bikers laughed, the tension that had followed them since the diner finally breaking. They climbed back into the Cybertruck, the ride back filled with conversation about what they'd seen and what it all meant. As the Cybertruck rolled back into the diner's parking lot, the bikers climbed out, quieter now than when they had arrived. The dusty lot seemed smaller somehow, the world outside the Tesla facility less expansive. They stood in a loose circle near their bikes, each lost in thought. Even Bull, who had dominated the conversation earlier, seemed reflective. Elon stepped out last, leaning casually against the truck. "I've been to a lot of places," he said. "Breaking the silence, met a lot of people, but today was different. You reminded me why it's important to have these conversations, not just about technology, but about where we're going as a society." Bull glanced up, his expression unreadable. "You talk a good game, Musk," he said, "but I'll admit you showed us something today. Made me think. And that doesn't happen often." Elon chuckled. "Thinking's the first step. Action comes next." One of the underbikers, the one with the red bandana, looked at you. "Really, Thanda, you really think all this tech stuff can fix the world? Like, for real?" Elon's face grew serious. "I think technology is a tool. It's not about the machines or the gadgets, it's about how we use them. We can build walls or we can build bridges. The choice is always ours." The group fell into a contemplative silence. Bull broke it by extending his hand to Elon once more. "You're all right, Musk," he said gruffly. "We don't agree on everything, but I respect you for putting your money where your mouth is." Elon shook his hand firmly. "And I respect you for listening. That's the hardest part." The bikers mounted their motorcycles, engines roaring to life and shattering the stillness of the lot. One by one, they rolled out, their figures disappearing into the dusty horizon. Bull lingered a moment longer, his gaze locking with Elon's. With a curt nod, part acknowledgement, part reluctant respect, he revved his engine and followed his crew into the fading sunlight. Elon stood alone for a moment beside his Cybertruck, the silence settling around him like the calm after a storm. He glanced toward the horizon, a faint smile tugging at the corners of his mouth. Days like this were rare, he thought, moments when two completely different worlds collided, sparking something unexpected. This was why he did what he did. Progress wasn't just measured in the miles traveled by an electric car or the light years crossed by a rocket. True progress was about people bridging gaps, breaking down walls, and finding common ground in the unlikeliest of places. He slid into the driver's seat, pausing as his hand hovered over the dashboard. For a brief moment, he replayed the day's events in his mind, not as a confrontation, but as a conversation, a step forward. It was a reminder that innovation wasn't just about technology, it was about inspiring people to think differently, to question assumptions, and to believe in the possibility of something better. Elon tapped the key card, and the Cybertruck came to life with a low, futuristic hum. As he steered onto the road, the diner faded into the rearview mirror. The lessons of the day stayed with him. A quiet affirmation that progress wasn't just built in labs and factories, it was born in moments like these, in places like this, and in the courage to start a conversation. With the sun dipping low, Elon drove onward, ready for whatever the next horizon might hold.